backseat bunny. Take a trip on it. Girl, you know you are a jam, 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 jam. Jam, 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 jam. Jam, 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 jam. Sounding like you're wasting every time. Jam, 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 jam. Jam, 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 jam. Jam, 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 jam. Sounding like you're wasting every time.
Hey, it's your girl Chocolate Travel Chick here with my first vlog. I'm super excited to start my YouTube channel with this vlog. It was a great trip and we went to Greece. It was so much fun. It was a couple's trip with my husband and my good friend, her husband. We celebrated 13 years of marriage and they celebrated 14 years of marriage. And so we wanted to do a really nice trip to Greece and it was spectacular, to say the least. So this vlog will be just little clips of us enjoying ourselves in Greece, and I will share some tips and some tricks and some just little stuff that I learned along the way planning the trip. I'm also a travel consultant, so I do all my full travel planning for all my trips, and so everything that I learn I hope to share with you guys so that when you get ready to take these trips to these locations, then you will know before you go. Booked our travel actually maybe like a month in advance, which I don't suggest. Greece is very popular right now, and so there are a lot of people going in droves to Greece, especially this past summer. And so if you're planning a trip to Greece, I suggest looking at the calendar, giving yourself enough time to plan ahead of time, because what we ran into with the hotels was everything we found that we liked, if we didn't get, because I was planning with a friend who lived out of state, and so you know, schedules and timing and things like that, we always were not able to get on the phone quickly enough to decide on the hotel and book the hotel. And so by the time we got back to that hotel, it was already booked up. So it's necessary for you to book in advance and to be ready to book when you are ready to travel, because especially if you're going during a high season, which for Greece, the high season is May through early September. Decided to stay in Athens and Mykonos, and we did a day trip to Santorini. We originally had 7 days planned for the trip, actually in Greece for 6 days. So we were going to try to do hotels in 3 locations, but it just seemed like it was going to be a whole lot to try to check in and check out of 3 hotels, staying for, you know, 2 days, 2 to 3 days and things like that. And so we decided to scratch Santorini as a hotel stay and just do a day trip there. We stayed in Athens first because of course we flew into Athens, and we stayed at the 14 Reasons Why Hotel, which is a really cute boutique hotel right smack dab in the middle of town. I will put the name down here because I cannot pronounce it. But it was walking distance to everything. So it was a very perfect area to stay in. There were shops, there were restaurants, there was like, we didn't need a cab to go anywhere except for maybe one place, which was the beach. But we walked everywhere we went. This hotel only has 14 rooms, which is hence the name, 14 Reasons Why. And they're very cute boutique style rooms, very small European style rooms, but comfortable bed and, you know, nice hot shower. They had a full breakfast that they offered included in the stay, which was cooked to order, which was very good. And then front desk ladies were very helpful with suggesting things to do and how to get there and scheduling our car and calling a car and taxis and things like that that we needed. They were very helpful with that. And so I would definitely suggest that hotel. But during that time in Athens, we saw a lot of the sites. So we saw the Acropolis, and we did that nice hike up very steep. I would suggest wearing extremely comfortable shoes because Athens is a lot of walking. Greece period is a lot of walking, but Athens was a lot of walking. It was very hot. there during this time. Like I said, we were there early September. It was very hot, and it was just, it was a nice breeze, of course, but it was a lot of walking. And so we, hiked all the way to the top. We saw the Parthenon. We saw, I'll list all the names of the sites that we saw. They have kind of like where you can buy one ticket and you can enter and walk through all the different spots and take pictures and all those things like that. One tip I'll say is, like I said, about your shoes, but make sure they have good grip. It's very slippery. My husband ended up falling, coming down the steps, and then he was not the only one. There was a lot of people who tripped down those steps because the steps are made out of like marble or quartz or something like that. It's this thick, heavy rock-like material, but it's very slippery. And so just wear really good, comfortable, and grippy shoes. Grippy. It's not a picture.
Oh, I didn't know. Is that her
from Greece. We are in Athens today, sightseeing and just walking around, seeing all the pretty buildings, restaurants, shops. We were still booked in Athens. We went to Santorini that day. So Santorini, we did a day trip. We chose to take a flight to Santorini from Athens. They do offer ferries, which is another way of transportation between the islands. But because we were trying to get there pretty quickly and have most of our day in Santorini, we chose to take a flight to Santorini. It'd be like an hour, but I'll put the time, the exact time up there. So we got there around like lunchtime, I think. When we got there, we caught a bus, which getting around Santorini and also Mykonos, the cheapest way I'll say is to get around by bus. And I think the bus is maybe like $1.80 or something like that. Very inexpensive. The system is pretty hectic at the bus stop because it's a lot of buses going in and out. They drive pretty crazy in Santorini and in Mykonos and in Athens to just drive really fast, and the streets are very narrow, and so it can be very nerve-wracking where you go. But we went to a winery. Santorini is known for their wines. They have a lot of vineyards there. The one that we chose was Santo Wines. It's one of the more popular ones. And so we went there. It had a spectacular view of the caldera, which is the volcano that Santorini is kind of made from. And so we had lunch there and we did a wine tasting. And that was just a really nice time for lunch as soon as we got there. And then after that, we decided to head to our photo shoot because me and my friend were doing the flying dress photo. Oh, we had so much fun. We had already pre-booked it with Miami Dress Photo. I will leave their link below in the description box. We picked the color of our dress. They let you pick the color. They let you pick your the amount of time you want to do your photo show. We chose photo shoots. We chose to do just the 30-minute shoot. Each of us do 30 minutes, and then you get X amount of photos and for a set price. And then you also get a person that comes with that package that will help the dress fly. And so I will insert some photos here so you guys can see what those pictures came out like. But it was a great experience. It was very hot, very hot. And even our husbands jumped in on the photo shoot, so they were good sports about that. My husband does not do hikes, and so I was very proud of him for getting on top of those buildings and doing the photo shoot. So after that, we went to see the sunset, the famous Santorini sunset. It was very, 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 very crowded, and it was very difficult getting to the exact spot where you can see the whole entire sunset, because there's different places you can see the sunset from, but in order to see it off the water, like where the sunset comes down and goes right into the water, you have to get to this one spot, and everybody wanted to get to that one spot. And so and it was so cool because as soon as the sun goes down on one side, the moon is up on the other side. So that was pretty awesome, and we got some great photos down there of that. After that, it was getting pretty late. Our flight back from Santorini was pretty late. I think we weren't going to leave until like 10:55 p.m. And that was Santorini. When we got back to Athens that night, I think we went and grabbed something to eat and we called it a night because we were super jet lagged. I mean, we just kind of hit the ground running as soon as we got to Greece. And so after Santorini, the next day, which would have been Saturday morning, we left heading to Mykonos. So, yep, I know you guys have heard about Mykonos. It's party town. It's a good time. Everybody goes there, and it did not disappoint. We had such a good time. Even so, I would say if I was going to go back, I would definitely do Mykonos again, just because of the vibe and, you know, the weather and the things to do. And it was just, I feel like I could have stayed, you know, more days there. But we took a ferry to Mykonos, and so we were able to experience the ferry there. The ferry was about 3 hours from Athens to Mykonos. I'll leave the correct amount. I think that's correct. correct. But yeah, it was about 3 hours. We caught a cab from our hotel to the port, and the ferries were super nice. Like, I don't know what I was thinking that the ferries would look like, but they were very nice, like very comfortable, like being on an airline. Um, and then, you know, you get Wi-Fi. They have places for you to buy little snacks and things like that on board. And so it was really relaxing. We were able to get a nice long nap on that trip to Mykonos, and so that was great. And so we booked through Ferry Hopper. I think the ferry tickets per person were maybe like $68 or something like that. I'm saying dollars, but euros. And so it was very affordable to get from Athens to Mykonos. So when we got to Mykonos, our driver was there. We stayed at the George Hotel Mykonos. It was a nice, fabulous 4-star hotel. The grounds were beautiful, had 2 pools and a hot tub. They went into our room, which was very pretty. I will show the footage of our room here. We had a balcony with a nice view of all the houses and hotels and things like that in the hills, and we could also see the water. So it was really really nice. I think the room type was a partial ocean view or something like that. But again, we decided to make this a pool day since we had kind of been traveling all day and we were kind of tired, and so we just hung out by the pool and had food and drinks and just, you know, chatted and talked and did all that good stuff. And we went to dinner. We decided to have dinner near our hotel. We went to Avili, I believe that's the name of it. It was a nice beachfront restaurant. They had really good food and drinks and a nice view of the water. Then after that, we decided to hit some of the clubs in Mykonos town, and so we grabbed a bus. We went to Simile Bar is where we went. It was a really good time. It was very small and crowded. The DJ was really good. They were open till 5:30 a.m. We stayed until about 3:30. So we had a really good time. The music was, you know, really good. And
talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, feels so nice. We time, you, I know
right. So as you go into Mykonos town, you'll find that there's just places like right in this hub area, like restaurants, shops that are open super late. The Louis Vuitton and Gucci store are open to like midnight, 1 o'clock. Then they have all these other different shops that are lining the streets that are open really late. So I end up having to run into one of the stores because I decided to wear heels because I thought I was gonna be cute. And maybe 5 or 10 minutes into walking on this cobblestone, I realized that it was not a great idea to wear heels. And so I was struggling. And so I ended up popping into stores and got me some shoes because, the heels were not working for me. Leaving the club, we got back on the bus and headed back home to our hotel. I will say, so far, we have been in Mykonos for that. This is the first night, and we, started off with a bang. Not a cheap trip, I will say. You better get your coins together for this trip because the restaurants are kind of pricey. The clubs are free, but the drinks are pricey. The shops, things like that, they don't really do a whole lot of bartering or anything like that. And so I think you have to have some spending money coming to Greece altogether, but especially Mykonos, because Athens, the street food and things like that, we didn't pay much of nothing eating the street food. But in Mykonos, the restaurants were way more expensive and things like that. So I would just say make sure you have plenty of spending money when you're getting ready to go on this trip, because you're gonna next day was Sunday. We were pretty rested, and so we decided to, well, I'll take that back, we weren't rested. Decided to grab breakfast and head into town again. We wanted to kind of sightsee and see what Mykonos town looked like during the day. And so we decided to go, we caught the bus after breakfast and went in, kind of walked around Mykonos town, going into the shops, going in to see, the Louis Vuitton store and the Gucci store, and they have all the name brands there. Purchase anything at these stores, you can get back the tax that you spend on these items. I think it's like 12% or something like that. So if you spend over $100, keep your receipt, get your it's like a voucher or a ticket that they give you that where you can get the amount of your tax back when you get ready to leave Greece. Okay, so after that, we decided to check out Little Venice, which is this little area of the port town of Mykonos, where you can see all the boats, and there's like little shops and restaurants kind of lining the water, and it's very cute. It's also, you can see the sunset from there as well, and so we decided to have a nice dinner, lunch at Nice and Easy was the restaurant we ate at. Food was really good, and it has a really great view of the sunset. So if you go around like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and just kind of eat and stay, then you can have a perfect view of the sunset, and you have the windmills of Mykonos that are in the background. So it's just a perfect photo opportunity. And so make sure you bring your cameras and catch all that good scenery. So next day was our beach day. Mykonos has very nice beaches, a ton of beaches and beach clubs. And so we decided we really couldn't choose which one we wanted to go to. So we just kind of did eeny, meeny, miny, mo. There are a ton. I will leave a list of some of that I did research on. The beach clubs are kind of do the same process. Some of them you need reservations for, but a lot of the ones that we looked at, we didn't need reservations for. They have like all these sunbeds and sun chairs, and so you kind of pick the level of what where you want your sunbed or chairs to be, and that's kind of like the price that you pay. And so I think we decided to go with like the third row from the beach and so I think we paid like $45 or something like that per couple, I want to say, which was a very nice spot. You know, they are playing music in the background. You can have food delivered to your beach chair. You have a waitress, drinks. They have happy hour. They have all those things that's kind of like right there. And so it's just really a relaxing day, just kind of hanging out on the beach and listening to music. And then at 4 o'clock, they get turned up and the DJ comes on and they are lively and doing all of the things. And so yeah, it was a great time. We met some really nice people who were admiring my hair. He's just kind of pulled me to the side and he was like, "Girl, your hair is great." And I was just like, "Thank you." And we took a selfie and, you know, all those good things. So
give me a dance move.
Brazil, let's go, guys. Welcome to Mykonos. Let's go with the Terry DJ. Are you fucking ready? Never sleep. My name is Sasa, the King of Mykonos. Let's go now.
They were very laid back, you know, they were just kind of trying to have a good time. And so this one was perfect for us. You know, the crowd was kind of a mix, you know, the music was mostly electronica type tech music or whatever, but they were playing the hits, but everything had a beat to it. And so it was a good time. We had a great time. We stayed there until maybe like 9 o'clock, something like that, or whatever, because the party goes on all night, but you know, we are of a certain age and we had kicked it late the night before, so we were like, okay, it's time to go. So we caught the bus back from the area Paradise Beach is the area that we went to. We caught the Paradise Beach bus back to Mykonos town. We grabbed something to eat in Mykonos town, and then we headed in, called it a night. And so the next day was our anniversary day, and I wanted us to do something really nice and romantic that day, and so I booked us on a yacht.
Finally been riding on my way. Finally woke up with some luck in the book. I don't give a what someone say. Finally got my friends in the back on my roller. We gon' make it big one day. We gon' make it big, I say. We gon' make it big, just stay in the moon. Stay in the moon with me. Give you a moment to give down since December. Ripped your heart, got a brand new one since you got lost in November. See it in your eyes when we leave for the night. Way too many heartbreaks still on your mind. Let the flame burn down for a while. Let the flame blur out for a while. Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment with me. Give you a moment. Give you a moment with me. Smell all the roses. Smell all the roses with me. Just give you a moment. Stay in the moment with me. I see you climbing, been trying to find your way. Let's see you smiling. Since we were stuck in LA, babe, come jump the rooftop and come watch the skyline with me. I see you climbing, been trying to find your way. Let's see you smiling. Since we were stuck in LA, babe, come jump the rooftop and come watch the skyline with me.
The weather was perfect, of course. The food was really good that they cooked for us. So we had 2 meals. One was kind of like a snack, I guess, but it was like this egg and tomato mixture of some sort. And then later on we had this spaghetti, like fresh spaghetti cooked with shrimp and some type of tomato sauce. It was really good, but it was just relaxing. And then of course we watched the sunset. You know, we've seen 3 sunsets now on this trip, and you know, you just never get tired of them. This one was really awesome, just being able to like sit on the side of the boat and watch the sun go down. So the next day was the day that we left. We had a super early flight. We had to fly from Mykonos back to Athens in order to catch our flight that was going to take us back to the States. So we had to get up early. Our hotel did offer shuttle service back to the airport, which was great. And then we took our short flight. I think that flight was maybe like an hour and a half, or maybe 2 hours from Mykonos to Athens. And then a few things that I will suggest is, of course, like I said earlier, booking early because the hotels do book up fast. You know, do your research on, you know, the locations and things like that that you want to do, so that you have a hotel that is in a centrally located area, so that you don't have to do a whole lot of traveling by taxi or by Uber. You want to be able to be close to like a bus stop or something like that. Like I said, there's different modes of transportation. You can rent a car in both Mykonos, Athens, and Santorini. I did not price rental cars, but the way those people drive, I don't think that I would want to drive on any of those islands. And then In Mykonos, they had some fun ways to get around, like by four-wheeler and by motorcycle. I think they had that in all of those places as well, and so that's a fun way to get around if you want to do that pretty quickly. You have your own mode of transportation. As far as best time to go to Greece, I would say the best time to go is in September when we went. From the research that I did and from what I've heard, July through August is very crowded, and it's very hard to make like reservations for restaurants and things like that. And so you want to take that into consideration when you're booking your trip. If you're going to go during the summer, just be prepared to wait a little bit longer. And then it's also hotter around that time. I do understand that when we went in September that the temperature has changed just a little bit, but it was still very warm. It was still hot some days, but it was a really nice breeze. And so the weather was perfect. Like I said, I did a whole lot of research before I went on this trip. And so I kind of had a list of things that I wanted to go to, or places, that I wanted to try ahead of time, so that you're not just kind of wandering aimlessly or trying places and you're not really sure of what the food or things like that will be like. As far as things to do, in Mykonos, there's a ton of things to do, which is one of the reasons why I think I want to go back. There's a ton of beach clubs. There's a ton of activities to do. There was the yachting trips. There's different islands that you can take day trips to from Mykonos that are a little bit closer than, say, you're going from Athens. And then there are, the clubs. There's Mykonos town. It's definitely a place that I would love to go back. And I would definitely try, some of the different islands that were on my list to go to, like Milos and Paros, and it's another one that starts with the N that I can't think of right now off the top of my head. But those are some of the other islands that I heard were really fun to go to, and that had that authentic Greece feel to them, but then without as much crowds, because a lot of people don't go there. The cost of this trip can be, I think, reasonably affordable when you're thinking about a European vacation. You definitely want to plan accordingly. But for what we paid for this trip, I think it was definitely worth it. So yeah, I would say budgeting for this vacation, I would budget at least, first accommodations. And that means like the flights, the ferries, the inter-island flights, and also your hotel stays. We did 2 hotel stays in 2 different islands. So I would say budget at least somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 for that. Of course, you can tweak those prices depending on the time that you go, and also, your flights, and also the choices of your hotels. Overall, it was a great trip. Greece is beautiful. It's one of the prettiest vacations I think I've ever been on, just because of the scenery and the sunsets. And I would definitely suggest going. It's a once-in-a-lifetime trip, I believe. If it's on your bucket list, I say get to planning, start saving your coins so you can go and experience it. If you're looking for a travel agent, travel consultant, I am that. So I will leave my website in the description box below. You can always hit me up. I love planning trips. I love doing the research. As a consultant, I do all the research for you, and I try to put together a nice itinerary for you with activities and options and things like that for your stay. And so you don't have to do all the reading of the reviews and checking which flight is going to work out for you. You give me your details, and then I will do all that for you. And so if you're thinking about planning a trip, think about me for that next time. Well, that's the end of the vlog. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that I was able to give you tons of information. If you have any questions, or if you have suggestions on where I should go next, or where you want to see me at next, then leave those in the comments below. And until then, happy travels.
When I go with confidence, when I go we roll like hips and take a sip on it, take a trip on it. When I know you are